You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Our second hour of live coverage on Cyclone Gelena, which continues to move towards Mauritius. If you've just joined us, it's 6 in the morning in Mauritius right now, and across all of the Mascarene Islands. It's 2 AM here at Force 13 HQ, and that would make it 9 PM on the US East Coast, where a lot of our audience is as well. Of course, the main feature tonight, this morning, is Mauritius and the region, with those two cyclones in the area. Cyclone Funani, which is making another go of intensification, and Cyclone Gelena, which is now the main threat to all of the islands involved. Class 1 warnings in effect for the whole of Mauritius has been issued just less than 2 hours ago. My name's Nathan Foy here in the studio. I am joined by the team, consisting of quite a few people in this hour. I'm joined by Strat, David, Tim, Max, and Thomas. Good evening / morning to you all.
Good evening again, Nathan. Round 2 of coverage.
Indeed. If you've got any comments or questions for us in this hour, send us a message on the YouTube chat or on our simulcasted Facebook stream in this hour. We'll be able to take all of your questions and comments. If you are on the ground in Mauritius, or La Réunion, or on Rodrigues, we'd in particular like to hear from you, especially if you've got some observations for us, or just anything that might be useful either to us to broadcast or to other people in your area. And of course we'll be saying that for quite some time. Not sure how long we're going to be here for during this live stream session. We could be here for quite some time as we continue to watch this storm. You know, as I said, a 1 in 4 chance at this moment in time that Gelena is going to impact Mauritius with tropical storm force winds. Would everyone agree with that assessment?
That's it. Go on.
I would say currently that would probably be a safe assessment unless its track really deviates from what Mateo France and the JTWC are calling for.
I think this is Thomas showing us this imagery of both the storms there.
Yes.
There they are.
Storms at the moment. You can see them both here, both of them swirling away. You can see Funani
swirling away, that's very descriptive.
Yes.
Just like all storms do.
Yes, but they are both quite a bit different in size. You can see Funani quite a bit bigger than Gelena there. And also looking like it will be quite a bit more intense here within the next couple of hours. Looks like it's going at another go of intensification, and could even get to strong Category 4 status.
Gelena, you think it could get the strong Category 4 status?
I was referring to Funani at the moment.
Oh, really?
But, I think
well, that's even more of a surprise.
Yeah, I think it could. I think it's a possibility. Will it do it? That again, that's kind of up in the air. I think it has a very good chance of becoming a Cat 4. But becoming a strong Cat 4 is a little up in the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, both these storms are intensifying at the moment, and I think that they're going to continue to do so over the next few days. I think that the storm to really worry about is Gelena at the moment, though, as it does move southward towards Mauritius and Rodrigues. So those are people that are going to need to be watching as the storm does move along. A few weather models are hinting at some tropical storm force winds in Mauritius, like you were saying, Nathan, with that 25% chance of tropical storm force winds. But again, it is more likely than not that not even tropical storm force winds will be impacting Mauritius, although Rodrigues looks like it will have a better chance of tropical storm force winds at this time. We'll have to see what happens as we do watch the storm. Looks like all this is going to unfold within the next 72 hours or so. So it isn't a very long wait.
Yeah, indeed. And in 72 hours' time, we're going to be, Monday morning, and it's going to be all over by then. The storms will have passed through, and the whole region will have fine weather in its wake. All right, so
I'm showing
some
water vapor imagery.
Just a minute. Let's try and get that. I was just distracted by something else. Here's some water vapor imagery. You met Sat?
Yes.
Is it possible to zoom on that?
Oh God.
Wonderful.
This is.
We'll come back to you when you're able to zoom in on that a little bit. Oh, we got it back. Okay.
All right. Yeah, as you can see from this, a lot of moisture in the storm environment for both the storms. Really, not much dry air or to be of concern to either of them.
Both systems clearly visible there on that imagery.
Indeed.
I'm still assessing what exactly is going on with Gelena right now.
Looks on this imagery looks like Gelena has quite a bit of moisture in its direct influence, which may or may not be able to help it intensify over the coming hours and day and such as it nears the islands.
So if you've just joined us, to confirm, Class 1 warnings are in effect for the whole of Mauritius ahead of Cyclone Gelena, which is apparent on this imagery here. And at the latest frame, which is what time? 2:01. So the last frame there is just 6 minutes old and is probably the best looking one for a while on this storm. Latest distance 428 miles from Mauritius. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, it is looking really good at the moment. Both storms actually are looking better than they have been over the past little while. It looks like Gelena's eye wall is about to close off, which would definitely mean rapid intensification is possible.
Can you see this imagery on the stream?
Yes.
It looks like Funani's a bit early for Valentine's. A little bit early. And there is its eye.
Right, so what? This is gonna add a new interesting image to the list of storm.
Yeah, someone's gonna screen cap that and
skull-faced Matthew
no doubt.
Knock 9 and this now.
So a question that just came in: could we have the latest forecast for Gelena's trajectory? It seems like it is going towards the south compared to what has been predicted. The models have been trending slowly south. There is still no guarantee that the storm is going to affect Mauritius. But as I detailed just before the end of the last hour, these two lines that you're looking at there are going to be very important over the next 24 hours. The first line is the storm's expected position somewhere along that line at 10 PM tonight in Mauritius. The second line there, which is beyond Mauritius mostly, that is where it is expected to be at 12 noon on Saturday. Somewhere along that line, worst case scenario has it right next to Mauritius.
And the worst case scenario for this is to go along the very southwestern edge of these two lines.
And none of the models are saying that's going to happen.
Yeah, that doesn't really seem likely at this point. Although we're still a ways out and things could change.
And let's see, with regards to Rodrigues, I just want to point that one out as well, if we were to draw another line here. So we expect the storm to be roughly somewhere along this line here, this new line, by 10 PM on Saturday night Mauritius time. Quite possibly making its final approach to a direct hit for Rodrigues. Or maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see, I'm afraid. Which is not always the best information or advice to give people, but it is the most honest advice. David, are you here?
More to say about it.
I think he stepped out. He's got computer issues at the moment, Nathan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thomas, you've done some of your own drawings there as well.
Yes, I've made a little drawing of my own here of my projected track, and the circles there are of projected land areas that could get impacted, with Rodrigues being the littler island closer to the center of your screen there, closer to the center of my screen share, probably more on the right side of your screen. That's Rodrigues, which is more likely to get impacted than Mauritius. But this cone here, I've made this cone of uncertainty, and I think that this is a potential track with the line indicating what I think the most likely track for the system is at this time. Again, this is probably going to wobble a little bit, that's why the cone's there, but I think that Mauritius is not going to get too many impacts, although they do have the potential to, and Rodrigues is going to be the island to get most of the impacts from this storm. And again, the GFS is showing hurricane force winds possible on Rodrigues.
Yes, I can't tell whether there's any new messages or not on the Facebook feed. Just the question, is Gelena a potential threat to Mauritius? I think we've just iterated there that it is. If you do have any questions, whichever platform you're watching on, because we do have a simulcast going on YouTube and on Facebook, because we have lots of followers from both sides. So that's why we're streaming on both. But send us a message on either. Neither, I'd like to think, is superior to the other, so we're just here. And hopefully we are being of some use at this point. At some point during the next few hours, we're probably going to break away and go to the automated streaming service, and maybe some other updates that will happen throughout the day. I'm really not sure on what our schedule is going to look like, considering how time is getting on here. Just a reminder that on Cyclone Island, which is literally under the gun right now from this storm, hurricane conditions are possible there in the next few hours. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that area now and see what that island, that tiny island, has been receiving in the last few frames. I don't know if you can make out the island on your screen. It is, if I was to point to it, where that little marker is, it is there, and that is how far it is away from the center. What is it now? Something like 78 miles. And that is about, I always do the kilometer conversions, even though that's quite difficult to do on the spot. what is it? About 120 kilometers. If you're interested in the color scale on this is quite interesting. It is satellite indicated rainfall amounts that are occurring as we watch. That's per hour. So the green areas are 5 millimeters per hour of rain. Once you get to the yellow areas, that's over 10 millimeters per hour. Embedded in that is orange, 20 millimeters per hour. The light pink colour, the rose colour really, 30 millimeters per hour. Red, 40 millimeters per hour. And then small areas of purple within that red there, 45 millimeters per hour. So very intense rain bands near the centre. So from that information, we can probably say that Tromelin right now has received 5 to 10 millimeters of rain, and that could rise sharply in the next few hours. How far is the rain from Mauritius? Probably quite far as I saw. Trying to get another view here. Yeah, very little going on over Mauritius and over Réunion. Well, just a thunderstorm that popped up there over Réunion in the last few minutes. Rodrigues is also quiet. But that's what we're looking at. A picture of both those storms right now. Gelena on the left hand side, top left. Funani on the bottom right. And I think they are separating in distance as well. Funani is moving quite a bit quicker as it tries to get its mojo back, but I think that really good looking eye wall there was a temporary thing. Don't think it's looking quite so good in the latest frame.
No, it's not quite looking as good at this point.
Northern side.
The storm is starting to lose its latitude. It's actually starting to gain quite a bit of it, and that's causing it to really start to get down to the subtropics, and it does have the potential of becoming post-tropical within the next 24 to 48 hours or so. We'll just have to see what does happen there. Although I don't think that there are any current forecasts of it becoming post-tropical, if I'm not mistaken.
It could still survive for quite a while yet.
It could. I'm not sure if it's going to, but it definitely could. It depends. If it has one of those times when it rapidly degrades again, it may not be able to recover.
Indeed. Alright, let's see if we can now again get back to some imagery. Other imagery now. First of all, I want to remind you of what's going on elsewhere in the world. This here is Invest 96p. David swore blind that it hadn't yet entered the Coral Sea. I think it quite clearly has, looking at this imagery. Just off the coast of Queensland. We've been watching that one for over a week. Invest 90p is delivering significant convective rainfall outbursts, outbreaks at the moment over the main Tongolese islands. Fiji probably didn't really feel it at all. Most of the thunderstorms are displaced to the east. This was the last Meteo France forecast track for Cyclone Funani, continuing to move well away from Rodrigues. That is no longer a threat to land. Gelena's track looks like this. Again, what we really need to be vigilant about when we look at this cone, yes, it is a very narrow cone that doesn't have Mauritius in it at all. But if the storm was to deviate to the southern edge of that yellow cone, with its with the wind field that it's currently got, and it's probably going to grow, which is marked by that blue outline next to its current position, then tropical storm force winds, gales of 65 kilometers per hour or higher, could reach Mauritius on Saturday. It could be an even bigger risk to Rodrigues as we enter Sunday morning. Saturday night into the early hours of Sunday morning, that is. It could give Rodrigues a direct hit. And some models are saying it will still be a Category 4 by that point. Not that it's got there already. It's still a Category 2 according to Force 13's estimate. 100 miles per hour, 160 kilometers per hour sustained winds. The Joint Typhoon Warning Centre track forecasts look like this. First for Funani, and then for Gelena. Very similar to the Météo France track, as a matter of fact. Very similar. Model guidance. Massive spread after Funani turns post-tropical, but that's not going to worry anyone. And Gelena's tracks look like this. Very curious to see that some of the ensembles there have some pretty wacky tracks in the short term. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to accelerate. It's probably not going to deviate very much. It's going to be a fairly easy one to predict. Although because it's riding such a fine line, just a few miles of track to the south of forecast could make all the difference in what winds Mauritius receives. Especially the northern part of the island.
I'm screen sharing a particular graphic that I made. Not sure.
What is it depicting?
It's depicting particular scenarios that could happen with Gelena.
Well, the blue ones are the much more likely ones. What is that?
Yes,
You're a bit late. You're a bit late with that one. Oh my goodness. We'll just fade them out for a minute whilst they sort that problem out. I can't believe that just happened on the stream. Anyway, let's bring us back to what we're looking at elsewhere. Again, the satellite imagery of the storms right now. It's still going on in my ears. Is it gone now? It's gone.
Yeah.
There's one for the blooper reel.
I apologize. My phone is very obnoxious and will not allow you to reject calls. So,
all right. Now on to my graphic. This red line I've drawn here is probably what I've determined to be the worst case scenario of what is probable or plausible with this storm at the moment. This light blue line is what I've determined to be the most probable scenario.
Certainly.
And this dark blue line is probably the best case scenario for what is plausible at the moment.
And we're getting messages of thanks on Facebook right now as well. We do appreciate those, and thank you for appreciating us. And again, looking back at this other window here, to reiterate to any people who are just joining us, the 3 lines of importance. It's going to have some sort of catchphrase at some point. 10 PM tonight, Cyclone Gelena is likely to reach the first line. Where exactly it hits the line will determine just how bad Mauritius will get out of this storm. If it goes towards the southern side of that line, Mauritius is going to get some significant winds. If it goes halfway or to the northern side of the line, Mauritius will get away with this one as well. The second line there, the middle one now, will be 12 noon on Saturday. It's likely to reach that line around then. And the third line there is 10 PM on Saturday. This is local time. where it could be bearing down on Rodrigues depending on where exactly its track takes it. So this is one that we'll be following for quite a while, I think.
Indeed, I mean, the best case scenario, which we discussed last hour, Nathan, was that it could possibly, it's a small window due to the angle that it's actually traveling, is that it could pull a Salid and just split between the two islands. But with the way it's currently going, that's a bit unlikely considering it's coming in from a different location and a different trajectory. So definitely, if you're on Rodrigues or Mauritius, definitely keep your eyes open on this, as it could go either way.
Certainly in Rodrigues, as we're saying, that the big numbers right now, a 1 in 4 chance that Mauritius will get tropical storm force winds, a 2 in 3 chance that Rodrigues will get tropical storm force winds from this storm. So, you know, that sort of explains a lot of it, really, if you're going to go by probabilities. And of course, you know, southern Mauritius, very unlikely to get tropical storm force winds. We're talking really Port Louis northwards and the northeastern coast there.
Yeah, I certainly would agree with that assessment. I would say that the odds of hurricane force winds are even less likely than that. And I'd say that there's virtually 0 chance of any major hurricane force winds there. So even if Gelena does somehow become a 175 mile per hour beast,
which is what which is what the HWRF is calling for.
Yes, but it's ridiculous. It still probably wouldn't even cause hurricane force wind. So no matter how strong the storm gets, if you're in Mauritius, if you're around Port Louis, you're probably going to be fine. But
common sense, we could they could still get 50 km/h sustained winds.
Yes, which still wouldn't be the most pleasant thing ever. But it's definitely better than 150 kilometer.
But a lot of these storms, you know, are more known for their rainfall. This one isn't going to be a particularly wet storm either. It's going to be on the dry side. We're really, according to the models at the minute, we're not looking at anything more than about 50 millimeters of rain on Mauritius. 2 inches.
Yeah, it's not at all.
Now, if anything, the bigger threat's going to be a lot of the wave action along the coastlines, and with Mauritius being on the drier side of it, that means you're going to have a lot of winds coming out of the southeast, hitting the coastline, and the forecast that I read out last hour is calling for 3 to 4 meter waves, increasing to 5 to 6 later on in Mauritius local time. So it is definitely encouraged until this passes through to not go out in the waters. There is that chance of rip currents, and if you do have a small fishing boat or other small craft, it's advised to keep it moored at the dock until this passes through.
Yes, indeed. Not getting too many questions at the moment, but send a message. Start your message with Force 13 if you're watching on YouTube right now. We're also simulcasting on Facebook via David. I think, Tim, you're watching that at the minute.
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Thank you. Gives me one less thing to do. As we continue to look at that imagery there. Who's that?
I just got a fan, or not a fan, a viewer, sent in an image of Facebook of the current conditions in Mauritius. Actually, it's sunny there. I'm actually gonna pull it up in messages and get it to be shared with us.
Yeah, we did have a comment not long ago saying the weather is awesome in Mauritius right now.
Yes, I looked at the image on my phone when I was coming back from my my work in the house, and I got to take a look at the image, and it does look absolutely stunning. So when my inbox loads up here, I'll be able to take a look at. Has anything significant happened in the past 30 minutes while I was away?
Well, not really. No, not really.
Right. Mostly just repeating information as people come in and out, I suppose.
Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of people will be coming in the next few hours. 6:30 a.m. in Mauritius. We're here to take any questions as you wake up over there this morning.
Yeah, so you know, I just like to put it like this: is because audience retention on average is like, you know, around 10 minutes or so. It's always good to go over things again and again, even if it seems mundane.
Well, that's why the news do it. We try and, I mean, you know, it takes a good broadcaster will be able to put the same news in 10 different variants, and everyone will still be interested by it. But you know, this is developing over time. It's not like tornado outbreaks. You know, this is cyclonic activity. It's pretty slow. You know, things change over a matter of hours rather than minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get a quick zoom in, and then I can actually pull this image up for us.
Okay, well, while you're looking at that, Strat, we just did have a good question come across the YouTube chat, Nathan. Let me find it again. It goes by screen name Prince Nilish is asking, is it possible for Class 2 warnings for today or tomorrow? Those on the team and the viewers that are not familiar with Class 2, that is forecasted gusts of 120 kilometers per hour happening within 12 hours of daylight time before a storm hits.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. I mean, I think they ought to do that soon, during today.
And then on the screen
Especially
right now,
if it trends south. I'm going to try and do some more number crunching on that one.
yeah, is it trending south right now? Since I've been away, you know, it's a slow developing thing. But have we seen any deviation that way?
We'll have a look at it shortly. First, tell us who sent us this image.
I can't do it. I gotta go on my phone to do this now, actually.
Oh.
So let me pull this. Well, because it was let's see, what was his name? It was Clip Owl from Mauritius. He sent in this beautiful photo. Looks like a great day there in Mauritius right now.
Possible distant thunderstorm there, or wannabe thunderstorm?
I don't know the angle this photo was taken at, so I can't say, oh, he's from the capital taking this, and northwest is the storm. I'm
sure someone knows where that is.
Probably. He's probably watching right now. He probably knows what it is. He can either send us a message.
Yeah, you know, and let's not underestimate, this storm will be moving in pretty quick. You know, tonight, evening hours is when it's really going to, you know, if it's coming properly, if it goes south of forecast, tonight is going to be a rough night. If it does stay further north, then it's going to be another Salida situation. But we just can't confirm that yet, and we have to... and I think it's wise for everyone to prepare as if it was going to go further south, because it's not worth the risk.
And that's why we start making updates and streams days in advance, because, you know, it's important to keep the latest information out for people just to know.
Yeah, Nathan, if you want to pull that graphic back up with those 3 lines, I'm seeing a couple ask when is it expected to be nearest to Mauritius and how far away. That way, those that are inquiring can have a bit of an idea of what we're looking at.
Well, the system has moved 51 miles in the last 6 hours. And it's another 420 something miles to Mauritius. I'm just trying to draw some lines here. First of all, on the midpoint of these lines. So this is sort of the best guess of where the storm's going to go. Although I would say it's probably going to go further south on that one. And further beyond that towards that way. So that's one scenario right there. And we'll just see if it goes south or north of that centre line. I think I've drawn that line a little bit too far north, actually. I'm going to go and draw it again.
Yeah, I was going to say, most of the models at this point take it either on Rodrigues or a bit south of it, if I'm not mistaken. I may be...
The official
completely
forecasts
falling
do
in.
that, indeed. So let's just basically draw a straight line. But from its starting position earlier. So a line here
Interestingly.
and down that way. So, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but as a general rule, if it goes south of this line, the chances for storm conditions in Mauritius will go higher. If it goes north of the line, then they will be decreasing. And now we wait and see.
Alright, we gotta just leave this on for the next 12 hours. We'll just leave it here. Great way to get some viewer retention, obviously. I was looking at the JTWC maps because, you know, they showed where, like, the not only tropical storm force, but 50 knots and then hurricane force winds are. An interesting tidbit to get from it is that they actually showed, as of the last visual update, that they expect 50-knot winds to hit Rodrigues now rather than just tropical storm force winds. I noticed they did up the size anticipation a little bit from the storm, and that's why they did that. So it'd be interesting to see as we go on to the next advisory, which would be... Actually, the next image advisory is going to be probably in the next hour or so.
What's
To
this?
see if we continue with that trend.
What
They
advisory?
expanded the wind field. They expanded the wind field forecast to the JTWC from a day ago to 6 hours ago. So now they say 50-knot winds will get to Rodrigues, even though the track is a bit further south than it was then. Which is a bit interesting to note. It's going to be something to watch to see if it continues to up the wind field forecast, because right now it keeps the tropical storm force winds about 100 or so miles away from the northeastern areas of the mainland Mauritius. But if we see this drift to the south a little bit and then have the storm be a bit larger than what they're saying as of a few hours ago in terms of forecast size, we could actually see something more significant. But still, it's going to be the dry side of the storm that's hitting Mauritius, so it's going to be a bit of an easier fight.
Hopefully my image is a lot clearer now, so I don't have to repeat myself a few times, so that's nice and handy there. So basically, the intersect points there are where we expect the storm to be at those times of day. And we'll see how well the storm does.
And then I just have another image here from this guy. He sent in another one, and he has the location this time, so I can actually...
Hey!
I don't know where this is exactly location-wise, but I have the name of it.
Oh, it's a lovely picture.
Yeah, he says from Bio Basin. I don't know
I beg your pardon?
which town that's in. He says from Bio Basin.
Bia Basin?
B-E-A-U-B-A-S-S-I-N.
That's probably pronounced Bo.
Okay, Bo Basin. Do we know where that is on the island?
I don't know whether it might be pronounced Bo Bassin. Yes, it's
Probably.
just southwest of Port Louis.
Alright, I've butchered that. I am sincerely
He's totally
sorry.
butchered it. Yeah, it shows our French proficiency around here, Strat.
And if you want to go off of this for a second, he actually sent another one of a good angle that can pull
Alright.
up as well.
We'll come back to that.
Alright, let me just get this other one up, because these are really stunning photos, and I really appreciate him for sending these in. Here, you can go back to me now. This is another one. Clear skies.
Yeah, of
for
course.
A very long distance.
And, you know, sometimes, you know, either in between storms or after a storm are noted for their remarkable clear skies. And sometimes it can lead to, you know, well, sometimes before storms as well. You know how the Hurricane Rita evacuation caused massive problems with the heat wave that was ended, and they quite often are ended by the storms. I think Hurricane Allen in 1980 ended one of the biggest heat waves of the time as well. But also after storms in the recovery, it can be a very miserable time because the temperatures go up, clear skies, and very little shelter, I guess.
And just for perspective, because we know where this location is, this is taken viewing towards the west or to the northwest. So
That's the sea in the distance there, is it?
Yes, that has to be the sea. I think we're getting some more pictures actually from someone else. I think.
Do send in your pictures, we'll show them. Strat's going to be our picture carousel for the rest of today.
Yeah, so if you want to switch off my screen share for a
Yep,
second.
we've done that.
From Oshkosh, Iwari. So let me see some of these that we can pull up.
Yeah.
Alright, we got
Those
two
latest
more.
frames of Gelena that you can see on both Nathan's imagery and my imagery, you can see a convective burst really starting to
Oh gosh.
blow up the western
The
side
one
of
you're
the
showing in particular, look at that last frame. That is pretty impressive. That could be rapid intensification there. Maybe. Let's not jump to conclusions.
And,
Yeah,
we
that
got
eye wall definitely looks like it's almost, if not completely, closed off.
Yeah, we gotta stay on guard for this because it's a dangerous situation. We have a couple more images from Saint Antoine Goodlands.
No, I'm laughing at something else. EB Gaming is happy, Strat, because you are leaving your Guess the Storm mode at long last.
Oh, well, I'm just
Good
butchering
one.
pronunciations now. This
Good
is
one.
from Saint Antoine, Goodlands.
Antoine,
Northeast.
is that?
Antoine, shut up. Look, it's late. I didn't get much sleep last night. I had a test today.
I didn't get much sleep last night.
You know, I'm making excuses for myself, not for you.
I hope we're amusing you, everyone watching, in this time of slight concern.
But this is an island northeast of Mauritius. You know, really beautiful looking trees and the scenery here.
Oh wait, hold on. Just a minute. We missed that one. Can we go back to it?
Oh, right here. Yeah, it's here.
This one.
Clear skies out here as well. I think this is. He says northeast of Mauritius, so I'm assuming it's a small island. But clear skies, nice tropical looking place. And here's another angle from a window. Looking good. Sunny. Everything looks clear here for now. I'm assuming because this is northeast of Mauritius that this is going to be a place under more threat than mainland Mauritius itself. So to our viewer here, I'd say take any warnings more seriously than here on mainland Mauritius itself.
All along the northeastern coast. I can't find that island, but all along the northeast.
Northeast of oh wait, if he said northeast of Mauritius, he might be meaning on Mauritius.
Yeah, probably.
Nathan, I was able to find a bulletin that was issued by Meteo Reunion a couple hours ago.
Yep.
And this is the day information from the ATCF as of 4 a.m. meeting time, Friday morning,
Yep.
February 8th.
That's just before we started our stream tonight, yeah.
Yes, sir. It has Gelena at 14.5 south, 54.2 east, 720 kilometers north-northwest of the Reunion coast. ATCF has it at 974 millibars. Winds were at the order of 130.4 kilometers an hour, moving south-southeast at a speed of 15.8 over the last 6 hours. So I don't know if that information is going to be useful in plotting out
15.8 what?
kilometers an hour over the last 6.
Alright then.
That was as of 4 a.m. local time this morning, Mauritius.
Strat, just to confirm, that image there that we saw just before, that's very near the northern tip of Mauritius, just to the northeast.
I think so.
On Mauritius itself. So,
Yes,
there we go.
I'm assuming it's from Mauritius.
Yes. As you can see, Strat's Mauritius geography knowledge is very poor. Mine is a little bit better. I've heard of some of the places, but don't exactly know where they all are. So
my brother's girlfriend was in Mauritius.
we really hope that you'll, bear with us, because we cover storms all around the world. We get to know a lot of different places. We are very thankful that you're joining us, and we do take it seriously whenever this kind of event happens. We do have a little bit of light in between all of that. I don't think we could be human without. But we're continuing to watch the progress of Cyclone Gelena, and it's moved about, what was it, 80 miles, was it? 75 miles in the last 6 hours. So that would correlate to a speed of 12 miles an hour.
And also, just want to say thank you again to Cliff for setting in those the first 2 images. He said he will send more in the afternoon. So
yeah, well, there's not much to see at the minute, you know.
Yeah. So later today, when
not
the
even many
conditions start to
clouds.
deteriorate a little bit, we might have some
But
more things
we
to
don't
show from there.
we don't want people to go out of their way to take pictures in a storm, though.
Yeah, once conditions really start to go downhill, I recommend hunkering down rather than even considering going out of your way to send those things. And I also noticed view counts are picking up on Facebook as well, so if you guys have any questions there, you can leave them in the comments section of the stream, and I'll be sure to pick those up as well as looking at the YouTube comments.
God damn it, Strat.
We're simulcasting. There's multiple things
We
at
are.
once.
We are simulcasting. We're thankful that everyone's on board. We've really not got much new to tell you. Class 1 warnings in effect for the whole of Mauritius this morning, and the storm is likely to move in this evening. Again.
Do we have any microwave?
I don't know. Again, bringing us back to these 3 lines here, the lines that matter. Well, there's technically 4 now on this screen, but the cross-section lines there. The Friday at 10 PM Mauritius time. The cross line there. The storm could move anywhere along that line towards or away from Mauritius. Saturday noon. It could be anywhere along that line. Saturday at 10 PM. Just to hide that one for a minute, it's going to get very close to Rodrigues. It's a fast-moving situation. If any areas do get impacted, it probably won't be for very long. And we're just going to watch very closely in the next few hours, however long we're here for, or whenever we come back if we take a break. We'll be watching how far south of that line this storm deviates as we continue to watch it.
Yeah, and I actually have some microwave imagery that I can pull so we can get a better sense of the eyewheel health of the storm. This is going to be about, the latest frame is going to be a few hours old, as 2245Z. We can see here, but it does show the solidifying of the eyewheel throughout the day yesterday on the 7th. Local time from Mauritius. Interestingly, it shows the western side of the eyewall being...
Just a minute, Strat.
Open part. Okay.
Begin again, please.
I'd say this goes from yesterday UTC time until 2245 Zulu. So this is going to be the development yesterday local time from Mauritius. Interestingly to note is that even though it shows the eyewall strengthening, is that the part it leaves open is actually the western part, even though when we look at satellite imagery, it looks like the southern part's been the more exposed side. I've noticed some more infrared imagery popping up on the stream that shows that flare-up of convection. Is that starting to really try to close things off?
I think it is, from what we saw on that imagery just before.
Yeah,
people want you to confirm it's a stage 4 on the CDPS. We think it still is, right?
No new information has come out to change that yet. So, yes, if you go off my screen, I might be able to see if the JTWC updated their wind field size, and I can try to do a recalculation of that.
Stage 4.
Stage 4 at the moment, at least, unless the JTWC has decided to come out with something.
Yeah, and that microwave imagery, the eye wall did look like it was getting to consolidate and contract and get more intense at last frames.
Yep, nothing new from the JTWC yet, so we're going to have to stay with the Stage 4 because the wind field is not updated at all.
Cool.
It's a mid-Stage 4, though. It's about 23 points, so if they expand the wind field by a little bit, we could be getting up towards a Stage 5.
Wow. Already. Let's see if we can just... does anyone have RAM imagery right now?
I have Real Earth and RAM. Which one do you
want?
want?
Look at RAM imagery, because the cloud tops in Gelena are pretty staggering in the northwestern side at the minute.
Alright, Thomas, do you want to show
I have it open at the moment in screen share.
We want RAM imagery. We need to show what it's doing at the minute, because it's quite impressive.
I have it here.
We've got your feed.
Yeah, you're right, Nathan. I was just looking at UMASat imagery, and there is definitely some tops starting to blow up on that northwestern side of the system.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, I think this is the beginning of rapid intensification. I mean, again, we can't really draw conclusions just yet, but
yeah, getting closer.
Yeah, and I just got a quick update from one of the people that sent in their images, the front guy from the northeast of Mauritius. He sent in a location dot. He is pretty much on the northeastern side, almost all the way to the northern tip.
So it's taken you about 20 minutes to figure that out.
I didn't know where it was. He had to send me it. He sent me a dot to give me an update. And someone's also sending some images. They also sent one trolling me as well.
Did they really?
They made a meme of me, actually.
Who did?
Let's see, who is this? Leo Morales.
Our viewers are memeing Strat during a serious storm situation. I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
They took my Facebook profile picture and put some not very nice words on top of it.
Oh, I see. Well, let's not go there in that case.
Alright, let's not, because I really appreciate the support for the project, but the dedication to put into
very little support for Strat.
Let's see. If you guys have any questions, though, feel free to put them in the chat on Facebook or YouTube.
Yep, we're sticking around.
Simulcast going on.
We are also going to be reposting every hour of coverage that we do on this storm on the YouTube and Facebook pages, so that you can watch them again at any time.
How cold are those cloud tops in the new images, actually?
Into the -90s.
Yeah, because I noticed it looks like the eye is trying to clear out in those same images as well. Although it looks like the
slightly, only a little bit.
Looks a bit.
It's been fighting.
The eastern eyewall looks a bit weak.
Been fighting for quite a while now.
Would those cloud tops be enough to boost it in strength at all, or would we still just keep it at 100 for the time being?
Yeah, I think it could boost it to at least 110.
Because do we usually see cloud tops this high at this part of the basin?
I'm sure it's happened before.
Someone just commented here saying, Gelena seems to be an unpredictable cyclone, changed paths a lot in the past couple days. I feel like
that's just the early stages. I think the biggest part of the unpredictable thing now is the intensity.
Yeah. Oh, this is actually something interesting. The JTWC has brought 96P back onto its map. As yellow. They have.
Nice.
Don't let David know that. He'll be all over that.
That's not.
Yeah. For the next hour of the live stream will not be Force 13, it will be David 13.
David.
Well, it's Force 13 AU, so if you guys want to check that out as well for all of David's
Yes,
videos.
we do. If there are any Australians watching, we have Force 13 AU and Oceania, which is pretty much run by David, because he's got no opposition. And you can find that. You can find all of our related channels on our YouTube channel page. You'll see them on the right hand side somewhere. You can see all of our local branches, UK, US and Australia, as well as Force 13 Extra and one or two others too.
Just speaking of that area, do we want to take a look at Invest 90P actually? I know its odds of development have sharply declined since yesterday, but it is.
Go back to some imagery then.
Still delivering intense rainfall to Tonga right now.
It is big convection over Tonga in the last few hours.
Yeah, we had an image sent in earlier that was shown.
See what we mean? We cover the whole world.
Yeah, we had an image sent in from Tonga of a downed tree in a backyard earlier, so it doesn't look like at the time of that being sent that any severe damage was done. Although I'm assuming flooding could be worse at this time. Fiji looks
There's
to be
certainly going to be some local flooding concerns about that one.
It looks like it is trying to pull off development at the last second, though, if you look at these frames.
Have we seen worse tropical storms than that? Well, I think we might have done.
Yes. It's got probably 12 to 18 hours to develop if it decides to do so at this point in time. It is looking pretty heavily sheared, although it is trying to push some convection over that center. Someone actually asked something in the YouTube chat as well.
Needs to get closer to the center.
It does. What are the chances of Gelena moving further south than predicted? what are we looking at right now? If this intensity trend continues, then higher.
Marginally at the minute. Marginally in its favour.
I think the fortunate thing is, even with its potential movement, that's that not only is Mauritius going to be on the drier side just because the southwest side is the weakest, but also because the storm is relatively small in size as well. That if it were coming at the same angle as our other storm last month, it would have the chance to thread the needle and not hit either directly. But it looks like it's going to be able to try to miss Mauritius fully, at least in terms of convection at the moment.
When we started the stream tonight, which is 2 hours ago now, the storm... Oh no, 8 hours ago the storm was 480 miles away from Mauritius, I think it was. Now it's 409.
Okay, so it's moved 14 miles closer in the past hour then, at least.
About 16 miles closer in the last hour or so. A little bit more than an hour.
So it's a pretty quick movement. It's still moving kinda slowly. But it's going to pick up pace pretty quick in the next day or so.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break here, coming up to 7 o'clock in the morning in Mauritius. We're staying with you for at least another hour. This is Force 13 Live. We'll have more commentary on Cyclone Gelena and Cyclone Funani. I almost forgot its name. And if we'll take some more questions in the next hour as well. We're guided by you. And we'll probably figure out what else we're doing with our very long schedule here at Force 13 HQ. Stay tuned for more. We'll be back in a few. Continues in a moment. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com, our YouTube page, youtube.com/Force13, on Facebook under the same name, Force13, and our Twitter handle, it's @Force13 if you wish to get in touch. You can also add Force13 on Skype and my personal account on Discord, Fool13, at extension 9094.